to 3 and ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Welcome to ASEAN BIZ, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm Andrew Chia.
And I'm Eric Chong.
And we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world that involves ASEAN countries. We would like to welcome our special guest today, Master Gina Lim, who's a Qigong practitioner, and she will be sharing with us useful tips on how business executives can make use of Qigong to not only manage stress, but also to achieve all-round wellness in their busy life as an executive, whether he's an entrepreneur or a day job holder like some of us.
Welcome, Gina. We are very glad to have you with us today.
I'm happy to be here.
On the show, yes, our direct main story today is Qigong and the business executive. But before that, let's look at our current business update on the topic of the ASEAN Summit 2015 in Kuala Lumpur recently. Okay, Andrew, what's your take about this ASEAN Summit?
Yes, Malaysia is very proud to be the host of this wonderful event involving all the ASEAN countries. And it seems that it's a very fruitful meeting recently, and it's going to improve all the trade ties and boost business and economy of all the countries involved.
Yes, and we have President Obama at the show as well.
Did Putin come?
I don't think so.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Should Putin come, then it's a very different story.
Eric, let's refresh our memory a bit. ASEAN, that is the Association of Southeast Asian Countries, was formed in 1967 with a few countries starting the ball rolling: Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Later, another 5 countries joined in, that is Brunei, Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, or at that time called Burma, and Vietnam. So far making it 10 countries.
And I still remember that during our first initial show, we have given a brief introduction of ASEAN. The purpose of ASEAN was set up. Andrew, you still remember?
Yes, the aims and purposes of the association of these countries are basically 2. Yes. One is to accelerate economic growth, social progress, and cultural development in a spirit of equality and partnership.
And then to promote regional peace and stability,
yes,
which is
2
very
main
crucial
purposes
in most regions of the world, around the world now at this moment.
Right, yes. Let us ask Master Gina, are you aware of all the countries in ASEAN so far?
Well,
how many of these countries have you been to personally?
A number of them, not all. I've not been to.
These are all neighbors.
Yeah, been to most of them, maybe 80%.
Wow, that's
not
great.
Too bad. Yes. So, which are the countries that you have not visited over this list?
Singapore definitely is our nearest neighbor, right?
I've not been to Philippines yet. And Laos.
Wow. And we heard that Laos is quite a good, peaceful country.
Right now, it's really developing.
It's developing, and it's an up-and-coming country to look at, beside Myanmar, with the new change in the president. Yes.
So ASEAN is supposed to develop the economic growth and social progress. Eric, let us take a quick look at all these countries one by one. Very briefly, we'll look at the population as well as the GDP and where this is all going when we reach, say, 2020. Starting off alphabetically with Brunei.
Yes, and Brunei, actually, we are looking at the smallest populations.
Right.
It's about 450,000 populations.
Less than half a million.
It's less than half a million. And looking at it, that GDP against their populations, if you put into ratios, is actually quite high. They have a 17 billion GDP.
Measured in US dollars.
And I would say that their main income is from oil. Right, Andrew? Am I correct?
Definitely.
Yes. So
oil-rich country.
It's an oil-rich country, and the Sultan actually is one of the richest men in the world.
Yeah.
Yes. So next we have Cambodia, right?
Cambodia.
Yes, I believe Gina will have been to Cambodia.
Yeah, one of the smaller countries in ASEAN. Cambodia only has a population of 15 million. GDP not too bad. It matches up with Brunei,
which is an oil-rich country.
Yeah,
And
of 17 billion.
yes.
Right. Same GDP as Brunei.
Yes, but Cambodia is mainly on agriculture. Yes.
The population is many times that of Brunei, isn't it?
Yes.
So
yes.
Brunei people must be very rich.
Yeah,
Because they have
if you put
oil.
it that way, if you put the ratios against the population, it's very rich.
Right. Next, we come to our biggest country in terms of population,
And
that
even
is
in
Indonesia.
terms of size. Yes. So Indonesia, we are having 250 million. I would
Wow.
say they are the biggest contributor to the size of populations in the ASEAN regions. And comes with a 900 billion GDP.
So naturally, that is the biggest GDP among all the ASEAN countries, lah.
Yes, and Indonesia, their main products also is oil and a lot of natural resources.
But it seems that their oil is not even enough for their own consumption,
Yeah,
right?
you're looking at the big populations
Yeah,
they are
bigger
having.
population.
So it's maybe not sufficient, but they are still one of the oil producing countries. Yes.
Okay. Next on the list is Laos with a 7 million population and GDP of about 12 billion, estimated in 2015.
So in this outlook, you look at it, Laos also not too bad, 7 million against 12 billion. So their ratios is also not too bad.
Yeah, I believe they have a very huge potential. Some of our Malaysians are already doing business there, involved in infrastructure and power projects.
And the size of the country are pretty big also. It's not actually a small country, quite big countries. So in terms of land size, they are quite big also. Right.
Okay, back home, let me cover Malaysia. We have a population of 30 million. Eric, I'm not sure whether that includes foreign labor.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's only Malaysians, right?
Yes, if you look at our the latest statistic shown in our foreign labours, we are actually housing about 3 to 4 million foreign labours in Malaysia.
Yes.
That is on a recorded basis. Those are not recorded, we wouldn't know how many. And Malaysia also not too bad. We are having a 380 billion GDP.
Wow, that's not bad actually, isn't it?
Yes.
Compared to say Indonesia with a much bigger
so if
population.
you put into a ratio, it's almost like let's say my arithmetic is correct. It's close to almost like about 1 billion per million populations. So it's not too bad. Yes. Then next we have the latest country called Myanmar. Latest in change of government. They have a new president at this moment, Aung San Suu Kyi. They have a 52 million populations and
bigger than Malaysia.
Bigger than Malaysia, and a GDP of 73 billion.
You notice that it's less than Malaysia.
It's less than Malaysia.
So that means they have a great potential to chase up with us.
Yes, and we have seen that quite a number of foreigners is already going into Myanmar, especially Malaysians and Singaporeans.
With such a population, right?
Yes, because the population growth there is growing, and even I would say the economy is growing.
I think there's huge potential in Myanmar.
Right, huge potential, especially now they are more liberalized, I believe.
Yes. So Gina, like Philippines is the country that you have not visited.
It's a big country, Gina. There's 100 million population there.
So would the Philippines be in your next list? Gina, what's your take on Philippines?
Perhaps, why not?
What do you think about the Philippines economy? It's slightly smaller than Malaysia's GDP, but they have 3 times our population. So it means there's great potential, right?
That's right,
Yes, because when a country to grow, the density of the populations is the main contributing factors to the GDP.
I think Philippines have a lot of skilled people, but when they come to Malaysia, they do menial jobs.
Yes, they are highly
It's such
qualified.
a pity.
Yes, they have degrees, and they came over to do things like
housemaids,
maids, domestic helpers, and things like that. So
That's right.
there's something wrong with the country, right?
That we wouldn't know. I think 3 of us have not visited Philippines. Let's make a trip and see for ourselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential, I believe, with such a population, right?
Then we have our highest growth or the highest potential, we have Singapore, our neighbor.
It's quite a phenomenal country considering the size is so small.
Yes. And it's a 5 million population.
With only a 5 million population. They have a GDP?
The GDP of
almost
300 billion.
Wow.
Wow.
Very many times smaller than Malaysia, but the GDP is chasing up to Malaysia's GDP.
So you put it to per million, they are actually per million are producing something like 60 billion productivity.
And do we dare to say they have exhausted their potential?
I don't think so.
Definitely not. Look at their currency.
Fantastic. Yeah, very strong currency. What's our Malaysia rate against Singapore today?
I would say it's about 3.1.
More than 3. Fantastic.
3.12, around that.
I want to work in Singapore, Eric.
Let's submit our resume.
1/3 the effort to be rewarded with the same dollar.
So we just work for 30 minutes instead of 1.5 hours.
Next up is one of the closest countries to Malaysia and most visited by Malaysians, right? That is Thailand. Thailand has a population of 70 million and the GDP is exactly the same as Malaysia's. That is 380 billion. Okay, so Eric, how do you see Thailand?
Well, the first thing is that Thailand is a very big country in terms of land mass, and I would say most of their populations are residing in the rural areas, the outskirts of the main cities, which they are dependent on agricultural based.
Yeah, they produce a lot of rice, right?
So, which means to say that probably the agriculture based. In fact, Thailand have a very robust economic based on their agriculture income. So, but then I would say since most of the population are farmers, so the contributing factors of the GDP might not be such a big amount.
They have fantastic cities also, isn't it?
Yes,
Bangkok.
Bangkok.
It's very big.
It's very
happening. A lot of people go there.
But in terms of ratios, they will have more countrysides than city center.
Definitely, yes.
I remember Thailand as a land of smiles.
Yes, it's
the people
true.
there are so...
And we always remember the slogan, "One night in Bangkok."
Wow.
I think that's a song, isn't it? It's not a slogan.
Yes. Yeah, everybody
it will
knows
make
that.
a great man humble.
Right. And finally, we have Vietnam, a very powerful country with an economy and a system closely resembling China. You know, China has been growing at a phenomenal rate. We believe Vietnam will also do the same. It has 90 million population, going to be 100, right? Almost matching Philippines. And their GDP right now is 200 billion. A lot of room for improvement, right?
Yes.
And a lot of projects coming up.
Yes, and I would say that their economy are growing despite being still a communist country. Yes, so but they are practicing very open economics. So in this sense, there are a few countries to watch out for, like Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos. These are the few countries that is growing, and even Cambodia is also growing in terms of tourism and agricultural base.
Yeah, we have many countries so-called tigers of Asia, right?
Yes.
Its economy is growing almost 10%.
Yes. And all in all, the ASEAN community, we call it the community, have a total population of 620 million and a total GDP of 2.6 trillion. So if you look at the size, they are just half the size of China or even half the size of India.
India used to have 600 million population some years back. I remember not too long ago.
Yeah.
Of course, India has grown much
tremendously, and I would say that GDP also grown tremendously because a lot of foreign companies are actually residing in India, especially those high-tech firms.
Right. Master Gina, what do you think of the figure 2.6 trillion?
Sounds familiar.
You mean the 2.6 part?
Yes.
Okay. Eric, don't be naughty.
I'm not being naughty, I'm just taking a drink, that's all.
Okay, 2.6 trillion. Gina, what's your take on how it matches with other countries like, say, China?
China is about
1.3.
The population is
about
1 billion, and their GDP is about 5
trillion.
Yeah.
So it's actually double.
Almost double.
Yeah, so if you look at the ASEAN communities need to grow by twofolds to actually match us up with China.
I think we're on the right track. The ASEAN Declaration, there's so much potential for economic growth, for social progress, for cultural development. There's so much cultural diversity, so much wealth and
right,
depth.
exactly.
So we are looking at a melting pot of cultures, activities.
And the most important thing is to have peace and stability amongst all of us. So
we will come to that point shortly. Let's talk about forecast. Do you know in 2013, just a couple of years back, the ASEAN GDP was forecasted to reach 2 trillion by the year 2020.
We've overshot it.
Yes, today we are not even near close to 2020, and just now we mentioned our GDP is right now how much?
2.6.
2.6 is already overshot the target. That's why now we have a new forecast. The new forecast is that by 2020 again, we will reach 4.7 trillion US dollars in GDP.
Wow.
So I would say maybe by the time we will reach 5.2.
Yes. At the rate we are going, we might even exceed 4.7, right?
Yes, there's a possibility because you're looking at all the countries. There's a diverse in minerals, diverse in natural resources. So in this sense, it will play a very important role to increase the GDP. Then, as compared to China GDP now is 5 trillion, as we mentioned earlier.
It's the second biggest economy in the world, behind US.
So who's the first?
United States of America.
I thought United States have negative.
That is GDP. Okay. Right now, the GDP in America is about 16 trillion. It's still a few times the size of China's.
Yes, because we are looking at America is a very well-developed country.
Yeah,
and
but we are talking about nominal GDP here. In terms of PPP GDP, China has already overtaken America.
What's PPP?
Purchasing power.
Wow.
Yes, which means the Chinese have lesser loans.
So in a sense, China is now the largest economy in the world.
So they are not making money to pay the bank. Whereas in America it's slightly different. They are more indebted.
Of course, the debt situation is another point.
So we are not going to delve on it today, right? So then we look at the world GDP is actually about 60 trillion,
of which ASEAN accounts for how many percent? 2.6 out of 60 trillion. Is less than 5%, right? But we are growing strongly.
It's good.
And with a population of 600 million, there's a lot of potential here.
And then regarding its second objective, to promote regional peace and stability, the focus is mainly on terrorism and many member countries.
Yes, you see the speeches by the leaders of ASEAN countries recently at the summit.
Yes.
Okay, they talk a lot
of emphasis on terrorism.
Right.
And recently, even the ASEAN regions are not spared of terrorism attacks. And the most recent one being the one being beheaded. Is that a terrorist act?
You're talking about which one, Eric?
The recent one that in Sarawak.
Philippines?
By the Abu Sayyaf. Yes, Bernard Tang.
He's a Malaysian. Was beheaded by the Abu Sayyaf terrorist group in the Philippines.
Yes, and he was kidnapped in Sandakan.
Right, Sandakan in Sabah.
So actually Sandakan, if you are not too sure about the geographical
it's in East Malaysia.
It's in East Malaysia, and Sandakan
on the Borneo Island.
Sandakan is the closest town towards Philippines.
That makes it the most dangerous town, right?
Yes, and the Abu Sayyaf, the island that they are terrorizing, I will put it, the island that they are terrorizing is very close to Sandakan.
And recently there were news reports that there are suicide bombers getting ready in Sandakan, which we read in the internet was confirmed by our authorities.
Well, I mean, how to confirm it? If it confirm, it will not be suicide bombers.
They confirmed that there is a threat.
There's a threat, yes. I mean, if you look at the whole region, there's threat everywhere. Okay? It's just that we need to be more cautious about our surrounding and more aware of what is happening and be more mindful about what we are doing. Right.
I feel differently. I feel there should be not too much focus on terrorism and evil and bad acts.
Yes.
Why don't we promote Why don't we promote all the wonderful acts that's been
Yes. In fact, it should be
done
talk
by
about the
all the
reverse
ASEAN
side.
countries? Yeah, we should be promoting. To promote peace, you have to project peace.
Yes. Instead of
If you
highlighting
want peace
the
and if you
terrorism
highlight terrorism, what are you promoting?
you're actually promoting them to be more gratified in terms of terrorism.
Right.
Yes.
So ASEAN countries are working very hard to promote cultural peace and friendship.
Right. Okay, we will take a short break now, and we'll be back with our main story for today. Stay tuned, guys.
Welcome back. You are listening to ASEAN BIZ, and our Durian main story today is Qigong and the busy executive. But before we bring you our main story, as usual, Eric is going to share with us his funny business moment. And the title of his story today is Christmas Present.
A father and sons are out shopping for Christmas presents for their family. The son asks, "What present are my sister and I going to get?" Dad answers, "I got you guys an iPad, an iPod." "Wow, thanks," the son replied. "And what will you give Mom?" "Your mom is getting an iron."
I'm sure Dad is still in the ICU right now. Thank you, Eric, for that silly, funny business moment. Welcome back to the show, guys. You're listening to ASEAN BIZ, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. And I'm your host, Chia. And together with me is Eric Chong. And we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world that involves ASEAN countries.
The title of our Durian main story today is Qigong and the Busy Executive. With us in our studio today is Master Gina Lim, Qigong practitioner and author of the book Go With The Flow. So 10 steps to wellness by harnessing the power of your Qi.
We
Welcome,
are talking
Gina.
about busy executives in ASEAN and why Qigong would be helpful to them. Eric, before we ask Master Gina about Qigong, let us take a look at the life of an everyday executive in an ASEAN country. Entrepreneurs and day job holders in ASEAN countries undergo a lot of stress in their daily work schedule. Yes, Eric, say a few words about stress.
Well, we are still in stress because we are still in business, right? And
I believe stress usually is either from work or from money problems, right?
partly
Too
true,
much work.
Partly true. In fact, stress can come from too much time on hand.
Oh, that also is stressful, right?
That's also stressful because the moment you wake up, you don't know what to do with your day.
I must add that stress can be managed.
Yes.
Okay, that's why we invited Master Gina, right?
Yes. So, but one more thing. If we can manage stress, then it won't be stress already.
I remember this saying from my boss. I used to work in a bank. My boss told me, "Andrew, do you know that work without stress equals to holiday? And the bank does not pay you for coming for a holiday, right?"
Yes, and holiday also stressful. You know.
I can't deny that stress is good. Stress is required if you have to complete a project, if you have to submit a report, if you have deadlines to meet. Absolutely, stress is good. But
True.
if you carry on that stress after the project, the whole day in the office, and you bring it home, and you bring it to the family, and you never know how to let that go,
De-stress.
de-stress.
Yes.
That's when the problem starts.
That's when the problem starts.
Too much stress and accumulated stress.
And I would say it's mainly accumulated stress.
So what happens when we have too much stress or we accumulate too much stress? Let's take a look.
Well, there's a lot of people who just like to go for a drink or have a big feast after work. They felt that that's the way to de-stress. Yeah? And then other ways, people look for exercises.
I think that's diversion.
They're just diverting.
That's just a diversion.
Diversions. So maybe Gina will have a more deeper understanding or deeper in-depth view of how to really manage the stress.
Oh yes, of course. Stress comes in so many ways. But usually it affects the mental body and
Mental stress.
mental stress is
Starts
actually
with mental stress.
that's the most difficult one to handle. If you're given work to do, piles of work, but you like your work and you get so involved into your work, your mind is focused into your job and you finish the job, that kind of stress doesn't disturb you as much as emotional stress. Emotional stress is not being able to handle your emotions. It can just be a remark or a look from someone, and it cuts deep into your heart, and it breaks right through, and that's when it damages your organs. And you must learn how to manage that kind of stress.
Yes.
Yeah, when the boss looks at you and give you a kind of strange look, why are you so inefficient? I expected your job to be finished last week. That is the kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So we don't really like that.
Yes, and there are research done that stress actually causes a lot of problems, including health, like hypertension, strokes, heart attacks, cancer, and etc. Relationship with our spouses, friends, and family.
Yeah, when we reach home, we carry back the stress
the
from
anger,
work. Yeah.
the anger after being scolded by the boss or being reprimanded by your client. So these are the things that you brought back home.
And you take it out on your other half,
Yes,
or
and
even the children.
I have one particular incident. One of my client, a customer, he said what he practices is every day when he almost reaches home, there's a tree in front of his main gate.
You're going to punch the tree
No,
and kick it.
he did a very simple action. He imagined he have a garland over his neck, so he took out the garland and hang it over the tree. So every day when he reaches home, he did that. So the neighbor was curious, what is he doing? He don't have a garland, but the act of the garland is there. So he just answered, when I hang that one, is an invisible stress or the pressure I get from my workplace. Now when I'm going home, I don't need to carry this inside the house.
Yeah, so you hang the garland of flowers, like the stress hanging on the tree.
Yes.
You don't need to take it back.
You don't need to take it back.
Yeah.
So in a way, it helps to a certain extent. And
Yes.
psychologically, it's actually felt that he actually relieved of the stress or the work pressure from the house to the house.
These kind of little tools that you do will do wonders for yourself, because what is working is the mind.
Yes.
Right.
The mind is doing that de-stressing, and if you can do that every day before you reach home and you make it into a habit. Oh my goodness, his family will love him.
Yes, and he made a point that never talk about work inside the house, and even during dinner or family dinner, he just ask about the children's well-being, what have they
Wow,
been doing. In
that
the
is
school.
very smart of him.
Yes.
I know of another character who did use the wrong strategy. Early morning, before he starts work, he will go to the washroom. He does something very strange. He will take out his identity card, place it near the mirror on the basin, and he will salute that identity card, which means he's saying, I really salute myself for being able to work in such terrible work environment. And the sad part was, he actually jumped out the window one day and killed himself.
Mm. So
That was a wrong way to distress
Exactly.
yourself,
yes,
isn't
probably
it?
it reaches one day that he don't felt any objective in saluting to himself at all.
He should have met your friend, or hanging the garland is a better way to distress, right?
Yes, yes.
Instead of saluting yourself
He's going
for
into
being
the
the champion.
gratification part.
Mhm.
When you try to gratify yourself, then it's a different ball game, playing tricks on your mind itself.
Yeah, it's all the mind.
Yeah.
And today we have Master Gina, who is going to give us some tips.
So maybe we just briefly introduce Master Gina. Master Gina is a Qigong practitioner for several years. She can explain the health benefits of Qigong and how it can help release stress and ensure good health and well-being. Master Gina she's actually a qualified accountant. Been working in the business sector for many years, and she fully understands the problem faced by a busy executive today.
Right, let us hear from Master Gina herself. Gina, how long have you been an accountant before you took up Qigong?
All my life.
You mean
Let
you've
me
been an
see.
accountant all your life after you left school?
After I
College.
graduated,
Right.
which was in 1978, immediately I got a job as an accountant.
That is the time when you celebrated.
Yeah.
So Eric,
But
Master Gina is just like one of us. She has been exposed to the business and money world for so many years.
Yes.
She's not just an 80-year-old master, Qigong master that you see every day, who doesn't understand the work stress and pressures involved.
So I would advise our listeners, okay, please take away your stereotype viewpoint of Qigong master in front of
Young and pretty Qigong master here today.
in front of us inside the studio is a very young, energetic Qigong master, as well as pretty too.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah,
Thank
Gina,
you for the
how long
compliment.
have you been practicing?
I've been practicing Qigong for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
But a year after I practiced, I was picked to be a teacher. So I
Wow.
was training under several teachers. And I've gone through many trainings with teachers from China as well.
Fantastic. Which means you have been a master for some years now.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, and just a little bit of a point of view is that Gina is very well educated in English, right? And a lot of people will have perceptions that Qigong master must learn Mandarin, must be very well versed in Chinese in order to practice Qigong.
Gina is a banana.
So please don't have that stereotype thinking, because Gina is actually teaching most of the things in English.
That's the only language that I can communicate in.
Yes, and we know that Gina is a Toastmaster speaker
Yes, and
in English.
in English. Okay, you got to put that in English. Right. So don't have that stereotype that Qigong master must be a Mandarin speaking person.
Right,
Yes,
yeah.
but-
Maybe right now we'll let Gina say a few words about her background before she started on Qigong.
Right. Well, being a busy executive, I had worked very long hours, and so much so that I don't even take lunch. Sometimes I
familiar.
work till the morning until about 3 o'clock when I'm really, really hungry. And I just have 5-minute break just to grab some instant noodles and go back to work.
Wow.
And going and working till 8, 9 p.m. was the norm. And there are times where I work round the clock till the next morning. So it was tremendously stressful.
We understand that.
Yes.
Eric and myself have gone through
that.
working round the clock also.
Also,
So that takes a toll on your body. Of course, at that time, I didn't know
at that
that.
time we are all young, so we wouldn't feel the effect of it.
Yeah.
And we hardly take holidays also.
Yes.
Yes.
So everything builds up. I had migraine, I had neck ache, shoulder ache, chest pain, my arms, I could hardly lift. But one thing that broke the point was
Last
when
straw.
the last straw was when I couldn't even walk up the staircase in my house.
Sounds
Wow,
serious.
Sounds
It was
serious.
bad. It was so, my knees were so painful that
You mean you were carrying a very heavy paycheck? Yeah, since you work so
Yes,
hard,
I
you must
wish
be
I
making a
was.
lot of money.
I wish I was, Andrew. But you know, I'm a lady, and you know how ladies are.
Yes.
In a way,
You don't get involved with the politics of the company.
exactly.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
right.
I don't want to. So I
Must be very
keep
stressful.
a distance. Yes.
Mm.
So that was when a friend told me that try Qigong,
Mm.
and when I took up Qigong, it was all in Mandarin. So the way
Wow.
I learned was just mimicking the movements of the person that's demonstrating in front of me. So because of that, I had to put in extra effort to memorize every little bit by what I see, what I visualize. I
By
didn't
your
know
side.
what she was saying at all. So I practiced every day. And I reaped the benefits immediately
Mm.
because I was taking a lot of drugs.
Drugs, yes, because
Because of my own problems.
the most first thing to do is that when you have all those problems, you just go and see a
Migraine,
doctor
you know.
or
Exactly.
pop a few Panadols.
Exactly.
That's the natural response of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And to actually go into Qigong without knowing Mandarin is
Yeah.
actually quite a big challenge for yourself.
You can imagine the natural way to distress other than maybe going for a jog or going to the spa. Most people would choose to pop some pills, whether it is some medication or is some multivitamins or something like that, to distress the body from all the toxic stuff.
Drugs are helpful. It removes the symptoms immediately. So what happens when the symptoms are gone? When my migraine is gone, what
Happy.
happens?
Continue working.
I continue to
Yes.
work.
Then the
And when I
migraine come
get the
back
next
again,
migraine,
then you pop 2 pills
More
instead of
Exactly.
one.
So it only relieves you of the symptoms, but it doesn't solve the main problem. Now in Qigong, it's all about energy.
Right.
Your body is actually an energy body, not only in terms of energy, but in terms of information. Because Qi holds information.
Wow, that's something new. Okay. Because the perception is that Qigong is all about movement
And martial arts.
and martial arts. That's what the general perceptions about Qigong is.
That is why in my book I have covered all the various elements that is important to be fully living this Qigong lifestyle.
Right.
And that
Which
involves
is more than martial arts, you mean?
more than movements, because it talks about your emotions,
Emotions.
your nutrition.
Wow.
You mean the
Relaxation.
emotions and the nutrition affects our chi?
Emotions affects your organs, internal organs, and each of your internal organs have their own organ Qi. So if you are a quick-tempered person, you have a lot of anger, it will affect your liver.
Yes.
It will damage your liver.
Damage the liver.
Yeah. And if you have a lot of fear, a lot of people are actually fearful of many things.
Right.
Yes.
And that will affect your kidneys.
Yes. And recently I just heard on the radio they said a lot of people fear of dark.
Yeah, fear a lot of things.
Yes,
Right.
when they fear of dark, they say dark is just that it's the same place without the light.
Yeah,
So
fear
you're
of darkness is a common
It's
fear.
a common fear of nothing, emptiness. And in fact, a lot of the general public nowadays have a lot of fears. Mainly they are fear of cannot settle their debts.
Yeah,
Or there's-
worried. I wouldn't say fear.
There's a
Probably the word is worry or anxiety. Is my paycheck enough to cover my car and house installments or rentals?
I think
that's
that
very common,
now
right?
the next fear is that when I put a posting, nobody put it a like.
That is more.
Much more
Serious.
stressing, more serious.
Yes, when nobody likes your Facebook post, you can imagine how stressful that is.
You know,
I fully understand.
So every time you make a posting, you got to be very certain that people will like my posting. That's another fear.
So what happens when you have all these emotions running in your body? You have fear,
Toxins
you have
will build up.
anticipation, you have expectation, you have anger. It is actually your mind going scattered in all different directions.
All negative.
And when your mind is scattered, you lose Qi very, very fast. That's why in Qigong practice, we always collect
Try
the
to
mind
gather
inwards,
the Qi.
gather the Qi back to the body.
Recollection of thoughts.
Yes.
Right. Well,
Thinking
okay.
of the better things other than all the opposites of fear, anger and stuff like that.
Opposite of fear is love.
Love.
Love is the absence of fear.
Well, that's something new. We
Right,
have always
guys.
been thinking what is the opposite of fear.
Yeah.
Gina caught me there. I was stunned. Opposite of fear.
Opposite of fear, we will imagine being very brave, right?
Yes, I would thought
Actually,
of
it's
being
not.
brave.
Brave is just putting up a front. You're still defending. You haven't broken.
Broken
haven't
the fear, yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's
When
true.
you have the love, there's no fear.
Right. Okay. We will take a short break and be back with our story shortly. Stay tuned, guys. Don't go away.
Welcome back, guys. You're listening to ASEAN Biz, and our Durian main story today is Qigong and the Busy Executive. But before we continue with the concluding part of our story today, Eric will give us a quick health tip. Eric is our health and fitness coach, and he runs the 100 km marathon himself. His health tip story for today is Your Healthy Minute.
And today, I'm going to talk about gratitude. As we
Wow.
all know, is Thanksgiving and Christmas is just around the corner. And there's this research done by this Dr. Paul Mills. He's a professor of family medicine and public health at the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine. So he actually found out that being grateful literally helps the heart. So he did a study. He recruited 186 men and women, average age about 60 to 66, who already had some damage to their heart, either through years of sustained high blood pressure or as a result of heart attack or even an infection of the heart itself. They each filled up a standard questionnaire to rate how grateful they felt for the people places or things in their life. It turned out that more grateful people were the healthier they are. They had less depressed mood, slept better, and had more energy, says Paul Mills.
I think I can believe that. Being grateful is good for our health, right, Gina? I'm sure you agree with that.
Absolutely. Grateful is a very positive, very powerful chi.
Yes, and in fact, during my recent statements, I said, when you're being grateful, it's difficult to become negative.
Yeah, I can also accept that.
Yes. And when Mills did blood tests to measure inflammations, the body's natural response to injury or plaque build up in the arteries, he found lower levels among those who were grateful, an indication of better. So Mills did a small follow-up study to look even deeper at gratitude. He tested 40 patients for heart disease and noted biological indications of heart disease such as inflammation and heart rhythm. Then he asked half of the patients to keep a journal most days of the week and write about 2 or 3 things they were grateful for. People wrote about everything from appreciating children to being grateful for spouses, friends, pets, travels, jobs, and even good food. After 2 months, Mills retested all 40 patients and found heart benefits for the patients who wrote in their journals. Inflammation levels were reduced and heart rhythm improved. And when being compared their heart disease risk before after the journal writing, there was a decrease in risk after 2 months of writing in their journals. But then it's actually quite difficult to say exactly that gratitude helps the heart, but it thinks that it's become a stress reducing factor when you keep on expressing gratitude, and it actually lower down the risk factor of heart disease.
I like to say that gratitude is just not a word. Gratitude, to feel its benefits, must come from the heart.
Yes.
And gratitude is such a very powerful, positive energy, very powerful chi.
Chi, yes.
Right.
And you can't fake gratitude.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what about politicians?
Politicians are also grateful that you support them.
Is that from the heart?
Hey, Eric, please don't be naughty. Anyway, I believe it's a very good practice, guys, to all of us start doing this that is mentioned earlier. All of us start a journal. Each day we start the day, we write down 1 or 2 things that we are grateful for. It can be the weather, it can be your friend, it can be something nice that you have tasted, or, anything that we are grateful for. I'm sure our blood pressure will be reduced, isn't it?
Yes. Why not do it and we come back before Chinese New Year and monitor ourselves? And do you feel that you will feel better during these 2 months when you express your gratitude and have a gratitude journal?
I did exactly that a year ago. I do that every morning, and at first it's like you have to do it, but then after that it becomes habitual, and you don't write just words anymore. Things will flow from your heart. Thoughts. Yes, and then you get a better measure of the feelings that come from your heart. Now, what is the difference? What is gratitude actually? It's a mental thought first of all. It's not a word. It comes from the mind first.
Yes.
From the mind, you get this positive energy, and then it manifests, and this energy will spread throughout your whole body, unblocking any stress, unblocking any stagnant chi. That's why gratitude works extremely well, even with Dr. Paul Mills' research. He doesn't know why his patients got healthy.
So maybe
but chi has got to do something with that. It unblocks the chi.
So maybe we just drop a few words to Dr. Paul Mills. A live testimonial.
Yeah, we fully support his research. We believe it's correct. Right, thanks Eric for that useful health tip. Let us all be thankful for all the people and things we have in our life. We'll now continue with our Durian main story today, that is Qigong and a busy executive. Gina, you can continue to tell us how Qigong is going to be very helpful for busy people like us.
Yes. Qigong, if you go to any place, you have to learn the whole module, the whole movements, from A to Z. That means you have to attend a training center. But I'm telling people now that Qigong is not just about dynamic movements. Qigong has got a lot to do with your mind. If you are able to watch where your mind is at each time, and if you are able to switch when you have a negative thought or emotion, if you are able to switch it immediately, let's say to gratitude, you can have a positive effect already on your own well-being. And switching, people say, it's so difficult to switch, right?
Because,
okay, very easy. Very easy. Do you breathe?
Yes.
Are you breathing now?
Of course.
Can you send gratitude to your lungs? Your beautiful lungs that's taking in all this air, all this chi for you.
Thanks for functioning well.
Exactly.
Right.
From the time you were born to now, your lungs have been working 24/7 non-stop. So do you think your lungs deserve gratitude?
Definitely.
Yes. So how do you send gratitude to your lungs? You would be withdrawing all your thoughts and just putting your attention in that area of your body where your lungs are. And
Master
you smile.
Gina,
Is it true to
at
say,
your lungs.
Master Gina, is it true to say that there's a lot of things to do with visualization in Qigong?
If you are good at visualization, you are able to perceive better, you are able to relax better. But it doesn't mean that if you cannot visualize and you cannot feel chi, that you won't get any effect. You will still get the effect. Because if you are able to just switch off the scattered thoughts and minds and everything else, just switch that off and coming back and just observing inside. If you're able to do just that, you already have benefits.
Yes, and we have people abusing their lungs every day, day in, day out.
You mean smoking? No, that is a bit out. Now it's vaping.
Okay. Right, the latest trends. So sorry folks, those vapors, you are abusing your lungs, you are not paying gratitude to your lungs.
Yeah, those chemicals that you're taking in is not exactly good, I understand.
Okay.
Master Gina, can you give us a little bit more advice, since we are all busy executives, how we can actually adopt Qigong into our busy schedule, bearing in mind that we don't have exactly 1 minute to do whatever important things like visualization or even write down gratitude stuff. We are so busy, for nothing sometimes.
Right. Why don't I share some things with you that you could do right where you are? Even if you're seated, especially if you're in an office, just sitting down, right?
That would be great. That would be great. Yes.
So things like your extremities, your fingers and your toes, it's important to keep moving them. So when you're seated down, move your ankles, flex your ankles, point it to the sky, and then point it down to the earth. Just flexing your ankles will allow the chi to flow through your ankles up to your toes. Now, the extremities of our body, your fingers and your toes, are also acupuncture points for our internal organs. When chi can flow right to the end of the extremities, your internal organs will also be nourished. So if you're seated down, don't just sit still and do nothing. Flex your ankles, and then just move your fingers. Just move the extremities all the time. And also your toes.
Hands.
Not to clasp your hands, but just to
move the fingers.
Move the fingers. Yeah. Close your fingers and open it, and close your fingers and open it. You don't have to grip tight. You don't need strength. You
when
just
I
need
close my fingers, Master Gina, it becomes something like a feast.
You don't need to close until a fist.
Yes. It becomes very stressful. I feel like punching somebody now. I'm just kidding.
You don't need to close until it's a fist. All you need to do is just move the fingers. So you just move the third and second segments of the finger in and out. Just moving it will attract chi to the extremities, and this will already nourish your internal organs. Do it all the time. Be aware of it.
So these are actually very helpful for office workers who have been sitting
just
for too long.
Just move your fingers and toes.
Yeah,
for half a
your
minute
ankle.
or 1 or 2 minutes if we can afford the time.
Yes. Then stand up, do a stretching.
Do it now
Do it
while you're
now.
talking.
Yes.
Right.
It's the same. It's
Do
very
it
good.
when you're in the train. Do it when you're seated in the plane. Do it anywhere, all the time.
Mm.
And this is Qigong already.
Yes.
Oh, not too difficult to start practicing Qigong, right?
Yes, do
I
it
can
now.
do it almost immediately now.
Yes, and it's true. And we found that people tends to be a bit concerned about how then people look at them. Where you are sitting at the plane, let's say for example, you just keep on moving, then the guy sitting next to you will keep looking at you.
Is he having a problem?
Yeah, is he having a problem?
That's-
So a lot of people are actually very conscious about how people perceive them to be.
That is because you are self-conscious.
That's
You
true.
think people are looking at
Yes,
you,
actually people don't
but
bother.
excuse me, people are all busy doing their own things.
Right.
Especially
See,
if they have a
nowadays-
phone.
Yes.
You will be so absorbed into your phone. Whatever you do right in front of them, they have no knowledge. So when you think people are looking at you, you are just being self-conscious.
Yes.
Right.
So
People are
does,
actually not interested.
So does touching the phone or swiping the phone counts?
You're only moving one finger. I
Yeah.
think that doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Because when you start talking other people, I did move my fingers, but that doesn't count.
Okay, what other techniques would you recommend for our listeners?
For a busy executive, now for the younger executives out there, you may want to do something to give a cardiovascular workout.
Right, yes,
So
that
what-
would be fantastic.
Yeah, so what you could do is, all you need to do is stand and then squat down. 2 feet, if you can, 2 feet together. But if you cannot balance, you can put your feet apart, shoulder width apart. So stand up first and then just bend your knees and lower the whole body until you go all the way down and your buttock points down to the earth below, and you hug your knees and then you stand up without help of anything. Just lift your body up. Imagine that there is a string at the crown of your head helping you to pull your whole body up. Now this simple movement, if you can do it for at least 5 minutes non-stop, if you can. You will find after the 5 minutes, when you rest, you will find that your heart will be pumping very fast. It's a very good cardiovascular workout.
I can feel the chi moving.
Yeah, you can feel this energy moving in
But
your
I
body.
think, Master Gina, I'll definitely need some help and some practice doing that.
Yeah, so for
Yes.
those who have difficulty doing that,
Difficulties is-
Yeah.
don't force your way all the way down. Just go down
As
as
much
comfortable as you feel you can and leave it there and then come up again. You still have to do it, but do to your most comfortable level that you think you can go down to. So you may not go all the way down. Still bend your knees and just go down and then come up. Now when you do this, try not to bend your spine forward. Your spine should be moving down in a straight line. If you can do it in front of a wall. In Qigong we call this movement wall squatting.
Wall squatting.
So you cannot move forward because there's a wall in front of you. So you would have to move vertically down, and that would be the right place. Now if you have young children at home and your young children misbehave,
Treat that as a punishment.
yes, other than just taking their phones away, ask them to do this.
Stand in the corner.
Face the wall in a corner and just squat up and down. Do it
right.
100 times. Now children,
They can do it.
They can do it. And 100 times for them is not
So,
not
which
an
means
issue.
to say during our school days when our teachers forces us to
something
pour our
actually
ears
good.
to scotch. So
Right.
actually we should be grateful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, another thing to be grateful for, isn't it?
Exactly. I
Hmm.
think there was some scientific evidence that doing this movement also helps to stimulate the brain activity and makes you smarter.
Yes, and add in a little bit, listeners, cardio exercise actually aggravate fat loss.
That is our fitness coach
Yes.
speaking.
Yes.
Okay.
So should you all want to lose weight, okay, do more cardio exercises. And what Master Gina have just mentioned is one of the exercise.
Yeah, I
which
do
actually
have.
helps.
I have a practitioner doing exactly this because she wants to lose weight on her waist. She wants to
Yes.
lose something. And she has just
Yes.
lost.
Yes.
Her waist is trimmer now. Just doing this, wall squatting.
Okay, fantastic. That is a wonderful tip. So we have, first of all, moving your fingers and your toes. And the second exercise, which is very helpful, is to
Squat.
almost like squat down and then coming up. That will improve our cardio and chest. And I can imagine the chi flowing much better after that. Okay. Is there one last tip for us?
Oh, yes.
I can't remember so many. Okay.
Before I go on to the last one, that wall squatting, what it does is it opens up all the chi meridians and channels along your spine, especially if you face a wall and you move down vertically correctly. All your chi channels and meridians open. And just that doing that simple exercise will make you disease free forever. But you have to do it how many times? 1,000 times a day. So do it slowly.
Actually, 1,000 times.
Start from 5. Start from 5. 5 a day. Don't have a target to meet. Let's say by the end of this month I want to do 50. Don't do that. 5, do until you're comfortable. I don't feel any stress. I don't feel tired. My heart beats normally. Then you move on to 10. That's how you increase. Don't increase because you have a target to meet and you want to achieve. It doesn't. Your body is not a machine.
Don't paste
You
the
have to
target in
listen.
front of the wall.
You have to listen.
Right.
You have to listen to your body when you do Qigong because we don't want you to damage any
Injury.
Injury, yes. So one last tip. I think since I talked about how
one moment, Master Gina, can you make your one last tip a simple one? You know, I
Andrew is still trying to squat.
yeah, I'm still having a little bit of difficulty with the second exercise.
Yes, I hear you, Andrew, and I think I hear a lot of people, listeners out there as well. So this last one is equally important because we talked about stress, we talked about emotions and how it can damage your organs. I talked about how important the mind is in trying to control these emotions. So this last exercise is actually a Qigong relaxation exercise. And you can do that. All you need to do is just sit down comfortably, relax. Don't sit back to the edge or to the back of your chair. Sit instead at the edge of your chair so that your spine is straight.
Upright.
The spine is upright. Allow the crown of your head to be facing the sky on top. Tuck in your chin and then just put your hands on your thighs. Now what I want you to do, you can do this anytime. Once you're seated comfortably, I want you to just close your eyes and withdraw all your thoughts. No more thoughts out there. Just observe the body. Now bring your mind into your head. Just looking inside. And then putting a smile to your face. Smiling to your brain.
Doesn't sound that difficult.
Yeah.
Having a smile.
Smiling to your face.
A lot of people have problems smiling.
Oh, okay.
Put a forced smile then.
Forced smile also can.
Forced smile, yes. Because when you force a smile, you're actually moving a lot of muscles in your body and has tremendous benefit to your body as well. So force a smile.
Okay, guys, even fake smile can. It's
Yes.
allowed.
Okay, this one is allowed.
Because you're
It's
faking.
even easier.
When you fake it often enough,
It will
then
become real.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, I can imagine that.
So when you smile and your head, you visualize your brain's relaxing. You visualize your eyes relaxing. You visualize every part of your head relaxing. And as you smile more and more, this relaxation energy will make you even more relaxed and make you let go. You're not so self-conscious anymore. You just
Totally relaxed.
Exactly. So allow that energy, visualize the energy moving down your neck, relaxing your neck, moving down your shoulders. Allow your shoulders to droop, letting go of all responsibilities. Visualize the energy moving down your spine and relaxing all the organs in your chest, your heart and your lungs. Smiling to your heart and lungs as well, paying gratitude to them.
Feeling
Dear
grateful
heart.
they are still beating.
Yes, dear heart, I'm ever so grateful for you. You've been working all my life. Now is my time to say thank you. Thank you, dear heart. Thank you, dear lungs. And you feel happy. And you smile. When you smile, the organs relax better. And the chi in the organs will be radiant. And continue the relaxation energy down your spine to your abdomen. All the organs in your abdomen relaxing. You have your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas, your spleen, all your digestive system relaxing. And moving all the way down to your pelvis. Visualize all the organs in your lower abdomen relaxing. Again, you have your digestive system. You have your reproductive system. Your urinary system. Now, if you can put your mind to your buttocks now and feel what is the texture of whatever it is that you're sitting on below you. If you can feel that, it means that your mind is withdrawn into your body and focus and observe inside. You are relaxed. And allow the energy to move down your legs, nourishing your bone marrow. Now this simple exercise that you do, just withdrawing your thoughts, just scanning your body, making sure every part is relaxed, and sending a smile and sending gratitude to your internal organs will do you wonders.
I can imagine the chi will be flowing more smoothly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And how long did it take? A minute or two.
Right, guys. Got it? Yes, Master, we got it. The first one is fingers and toes. Number 2 is the squat. And number 3 is relaxation and visualize your own body.
Right.
Great.
So our time is running short. So for more info, look out for Master Gina's book, Go With The Flow, which will be released by March 2016.
You can visit Gina's website at ginalim.org for latest updates on Qigong techniques and other info on Qigong. Or you may write to Master Gina at gina@ginalim.org. That's the email. Got it, Eric?
Yes. And we are so grateful today that Gina comes to our studio and share with us her experiences in the corporate world, as well as her experiences after the corporate world into the Qigong world.
Thank you so much, Master Gina.
You're welcome. I'm so happy to be here to share this tip with all the busy executives out there.
So we are actually looking forward for more sessions with Gina, and hopefully we will have a future interview with her more.
Yes, great. All right, folks. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, and we hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back with a brand new story for our Durian May show on ASEAN Biz in the next edition.
Bye for now.